Adopting a child is a way for couples to welcome a new member into the family. This is a perfect opportunity to fill the void that only a lovable child will be able to answer. Thus, be sure you know how to select an adoption attorney who can guide you throughout the adoption process. Why you should hire an adoption attorney. When you approach a child placement agency, you will learn that in the matching processes, the attorney doesn't normally take charge. The agency can do some of the legal work for their clients. However, hiring an adoption attorney can give you more assistance throughout the adoption process. This is especially crucial for people who are taking the route of independent adoption. This is when the adopting parents correspond with the biological parents for the adoption process without help from a placement agency. The adoption attorney will make sure that you comply with all the legal requirements so that the adoption won't have legal complications. What to expect from your adoption attorney? There are services provided by an adoption attorney that will help you in your efforts to bring a child into the family. He or she ensures that all the legal requirements in adopting a child are complied with. The adoption attorney will also guide you throughout the process, especially in understanding some complicated consequences in your choices. Of course, if you hire the services of an adoption attorney, you will also have to deal with the fees. Normally, you will be charged for the services of the adoption attorney. This can also include some of the expenses for legal documents. It is best to know the running rate for adoption attorneys in your state. As to when and how the adoption attorney is paid, you can agree on this ahead of time. Tips on how to select an adoption attorney. Since your adoption attorney will represent you in accomplishing the legal requirements for the adoption process, it is best to know some helpful tips on how to select an adoption attorney. Here are some of the points to keep in mind. Know what questions to ask. You must know what questions to ask your attorney, as it will ensure that you can expect a good rapport with the person representing you. The attorney will be your intermediary in the adoption process, so keep in mind that you need to establish a good relationship with him or her. Ask the adoption attorney about his or her credentials. It is best to choose one that has experience in the field of adoption. Make sure also that you ask about the fees. Hiring an adoption attorney to assist your cause shouldn't be a burden. It is even better if you get to ask a few questions regarding the adoption procedure. Try to see how the adoption attorney will explain to you some technical matters. He or she must clearly explain to you the matter, together with the consequences of the decisions on certain aspects. American Academy of Adoption Attorneys. It is best if you get to choose an attorney who is member of this association. This is a good assurance that your attorney knows the present adoptive laws in your state and even for interstate matters. You can even make this association your first step in seeking an adoption attorney. You can ask for recommendation and referrals. Specialization versus attorney. For all concerns, there are lawyers who represent themselves as capable enough to represent any cause that will come their way. However, it is best that in choosing the adoption attorney, you stick with the ones who have specialization. Adoption laws can be strict or restrictive. There are technicalities that you must be cautious of that only a specialized adoption attorney can handle with confidence. Conclusion: never underestimate the role of the adoption attorney to your efforts to welcome a child into the family. He or she will determine if you comply with the legal requirements properly. This is the only way that you can ensure accomplishing the whole adoption process. Keep in mind these points on how to select an adoption attorney, and you can be rest assured of the positive outcome in the adoption process.